If you're new to church or have just moved to the South Coast, welcome. My name's Matt and I'm married to Vivi and we are the lead pastors at One Church. We have 4 children, Jeremy, Tiffany, Honey Grace and our last surprise package, Elliot. You know, for most of us, the last few years have brought change and challenges at an alarming rate. They said in 2020 that the speed of change increased 5 times. Some argue that by 2035, the speed of change will be 500 times quicker than last century. Man, that's fast, even disturbing for us. Fast-moving change can often make us feel anxious and overwhelmed. But there's some good news. In a world of rapid change, the essential purposes of the church don't change. We believe the church is called to be a non-anxious presence in the world, to not react in fear, but to respond in love, to not run and hide, but to build a loving home overflowing with confidence and compassion. Our world is fragile, and sometimes it feels almost like the darkness is encroaching all around us. But Jesus said that the gates of hell will not prevail against the church. And my wife and I have experienced this firsthand. Jesus promised to build his church. Our greatest longing for safety and self-worth and significance are actually found in him. Our mission is to lead people to Jesus, full stop. We want to follow him, to be changed by him, and to do what Jesus did. You know, in a secular nation like Britain, with overtones of a Christian history, it's easy to forget our primary call is unto Jesus.
Yes, our church is made up of families over 40 different nationalities. I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and moved over to the UK in 1995. My husband was born in Portsmouth and lived in France for many years. Our 20-acre site in Emsworth connects families from both Portsmouth and Chichester districts. We shop in Portsmouth, our children go to school in Chichester, and do life everywhere in between.
Our picture frame for ministry is from Mark 2. 4 guys partner together to bring a broken man before Jesus. You know the story. The room is full, so they innovate. They climb up onto a roof, break a hole through the roof, and lower the man before Jesus. The man walks away forgiven and made whole. And that's our heart. We want to do whatever it takes to get people to encounter Jesus. Our church is gospel-centered. Gospel means good news. Every week we want to give families an opportunity to change their story and become followers of Jesus. We are alive in worship. We believe the answer to the digital age is not more information, but the manifest presence of God. Praise has a rhythm and worship has a fragrance to it. In live worship, God's presence is felt, God's pardon is offered, God's purposes are revealed, and God's power is put on display.
We are generational by nature, and we want to be intentional about building environments for children, youth, and family, where they can come and feel safe and have fun and encounter Jesus.
Yeah, the theologian Helmut Felix said the gospel must be constantly forward to a new address because the recipient is repeatedly changing his place of residence. Our orthodoxy shouldn't change, but the gospel must be communicated and lived out in a compelling way for each new generation to see and experience. Our goal is to go into all the world and make resilient disciples to win the South Coast, Europe, and the world for Christ. We do this by helping people find their gifts in order to equip them for their life's mission. You know, we gather with intentionality on Sunday for edification and preaching of the word and for praise and worship, but then we scatter into small groups midweek to fulfill the Great Commandment and the Great Commission.
If you are going through a season of changeover, we would love to meet you. We believe that every person's journeys matter. Maybe at this time you just need a time to stop and breathe in a safe environment. Jesus says in Matthew 11, verse 28, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." It may be the time for you just to get spiritual restored, renewed, and revived.
Maybe you feel now is the time also to re-engage in Christ's mission to build the local church. And we believe the physical gathering of a church is both an embassy of Christ's kingdom and the temporary geography of that kingdom. Every time a new family joins our local expression of church, they add their talent and their experiences and make the local church that much brighter. wherever you are at, we would love to invite you to grab a coffee with us at one of our Sunday services, or to the next growth track where we talk about the vision of the church. You'll get to meet some of the team and find out how to get plugged into a small group midweek or how to serve on one of the ministry teams. Alternatively, you can check us out on our YouTube channel at One Church Emsworth or on our website at www.onechurch.fyi. We'll see you soon.